Okay, as promised, Mr. Bezos delivered. Able to get these knuckles blown apart here. So we're gonna do a little bit of I want to do an apples to apples deal here. I want to go everything that I'm taking off and everything that I'm replacing it with. So I'm not gonna weigh the knuckles because obviously the knuckles are still gonna be used, right? Same knuckles. And the rears, I'm not gonna weigh the hubs either because the hubs are staying, right? It's just the front hubs that are changing out. But everything that's coming off, everything that's gonna be a true comparison here, I'm gonna go ahead and weigh. So we're gonna start off. I'm gonna start off with the rears because there's got more crap to it. All right, so we're gonna start off with a rear caliper, rear rotor. And I'm gonna go ahead and set the scale up, and I will come back and show you when everything's on the scale. We'll take a measurement, then we're gonna go ahead and do the same thing with the aerospace stuff, and we'll see where we go. Okay, here we go. So, scale set up. Here we go. Push down on it. All right, 0. All right, we'll clear 0 and set the pounds. Yep, pounds. All right, so let's start this off here. Here's a rotor. Let's put this guy on first. 16.18 pounds on the rotor. All right, that's on the rotor. I'm gonna go ahead and use a towel here just in case. I don't want to nick this bad boy up. And yeah, registered. Wow, it's a heavy ass towel. 16.3. Let me do this. I'm gonna jostle it up and down. See where it goes. Yep. All right. So rotor's on there. Let's do one caliper. Again, this is rear, and it's got the hardware. Pads are still in it. I don't mind. That's the ghost. Put this guy in here. Here we go. 2674. All right, let's do one. Okay, this is the line with the level sensor attached there. We're not using that anymore. So throw that in here. 2760. And we're gonna put one of these backing plates with the parking brake attached. All right. One of these guys in here. Top it off with that. 30 pounds. 30.29 pounds. And last but not least, this is for it's a parking brake. So it holds a parking brake right there. All right. Nice, pretty beefy steel. So let's put this guy in here with the hardware. What we got? Just under 31 pounds. 30.91 pounds. All right, that's a rear. Okay, so it's coming off the rear, one corner on the rear. Okay, so let's blow all this stuff out of here. Let's go get the aerospace stuff, weigh the rear corner again, see what kind of savings we get. Okay, so same deal. Scale, 0, right? Let's push down. Okay, 0, things zeroed out. He's good. On pounds, right there. All right, so we're gonna weigh the same things. Let's do the aerospace stuff. So this is the rear. So I'm gonna go with the rotor. 5.95 pounds. 5.95 pounds. Okay. Caliper. 9.1. Line. 9.22. 9 double deuce. That's everything, right? Yeah. Rotor assembly, the disc and the hat already assembled. Caliper and line. That's it's kind of an apples to apples deal with the rear, right? Because we're going to use the same hub. Gotta clean these things up, but same hub, same knuckle, so none of that changes. I am gonna change the studs, but I mean, that's pretty minute. So yeah, so there's your difference. It was what, just under 31 pounds, I want to say. So you're talking about right about 22 pounds. That's on one corner. So I did weigh, by the way. I know it was a curiosity. I did weigh. This is the one that I weighed, the left rear. I did weigh this guy just for shits and giggles, and this one was 16.28 pounds, 16.25 pounds. Just, I don't know, in case you're curious. So that is what we have for the rears. We're gonna go ahead and pull the factory front stuff over here, and we'll give that a shot. Okay, so a minute ago I did the rears, so just put them back on here, and actually came out dead the same, 922. 922. All right, so put the rears back on, caliper, line, all that stuff. What I did forget though, here you go. Here you go. Said it's gonna be tough to stop without them, right? So let's go ahead and add these guys to the equation. 1045. 1045. Let's give it a little shove. 1047. All right. So there you go. 10.4 from 922. So pads are right about a pound. So 10.4. That's your actual rears. And I think the was just under 31 was the factory. So it's about, you know, it's about 20 pounds difference there. 21 pounds, 20 and a half, something like that. So pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. I like it. Okay. Let's try this again. So OE stuff, right? Factory hardware, factory rotor, caliper, all that good stuff. Make some room here because this is she's a biggin. She's a biggin. All right. So let's start off. Caliper. 0. Right, we're on 0. Right. There you go. 0 pounds. All right. Okay. I should make some room here, because I suspect this is going to overlap quite a bit. So, rotor, number 1, left front. Left front rotor. Is that on there, right? Yeah. Okay, left front rotor is 13.14 pounds. Okay. 13.14 pounds for the left front rotor. Let's cover it up. Damage anything? 1332 with the rag. This is one heavy ass rag, goddamn. All right. Caliper. Okay. The pads are in there, and the line is still attached too. So it has that retainer. So all factory crap. Goddamn. All right. Right here in the middle. These on. 2926. 2926. Okay. But wait, there's more. We are changing the hubs, right? Got those cool billet hubs. So here's this big honking bastard right here. Let's go ahead and put him right here, right back there. Okay. We are at 37.57 pounds. And the PAs, they erase these holes. This little shield thing, dust shield, whatever the hell it is in the back. Bloop. There she is. 37.96 pounds. 37.96 pounds. Okay, I'm gonna give it a little shove and see if it kind of stays the same or not. There we go. Yeah, 37.96 pounds. Cool. All right. So there you have it. That is factory front, right? The whole deal. Everything we're changing out here. Keeping the same knuckle, so we're not going to measure the knuckle. You don't cut the, it's not a TBM, so you don't cut the ears off the knuckles. You actually keep the same caliper mounting ears, tabs. You reuse them, so we don't have to measure those things, or weigh them rather. So yeah, we'll go ahead and grab the aerospace stuff and see what the difference is. Alrighty, last one up. Front. Light time. So back on the scale, 0. Gonna give a little push test there, 0. Still 0, things good, 0. All right. So let's start off with, this is the Aerospace front. All right, everything's already mounted, so you got the hat and the disc already. Put these guys on here. What we got? 7.43 pounds. All right, 743. Let's go ahead and, now in this case, of course, we weighed the front hub because we're changing out the hubs, right? So this is the new hub, and some of it is pretty heavy, but anyways, here's the hub, right in the middle. What do we got? 1475. 1475. All right. Don't stop without them. Brake pads. 1598. One brake line. There. 1609, and the centerpiece. It's a gorgeous piece right here. Lay it right here in the middle. And 1925. 1925. Let's give it a little shove. Reset it. 1929. Was it 25 before? Or was it 1929? It's pretty close. So there you go. 19.29 pounds. Call it 19.3 pounds for this whole concoction right here. Pad, caliper, hub, line, and obviously the brake assembly. So yeah, not bad, not too bad. It's kind of light. Let's see what else we can figure out. I actually, you know what, I screwed up. I did the rears earlier and I did not include the pads. I'm gonna go back and redo the pads real quick. All right, this one had me curious too. So specifically for the hubs, got the billet one right here, right? Billet. It's a billet C7 hub. The reason I say it's C7, and it matters obviously, not C6, it has to do with the way the wheel speed sensor works on C7s versus C6s. And I'll get into that in a minute, because it actually does affect what I'm doing and how the plan's working out, but I'll cross that bridge in a second. I did want to weigh, got the billet one here, and I have the very much not billet one over here. So factory one. Factory hub, it's just a hub, right? Just a bearing in the hub there. Oh, 0? Yep, 0. Okay. $8.38 pounds. Let's lift it up. Try it one more time. 8.38 pounds. All right. It's factory. 838. Billet is 732. Let's try one more time. Yep, 732. So 1 pound difference. Wow. 1 pound difference. Now you're gonna ask, is it worth the money for 1 pound? That's up to you. I think the advertisement says it's something like 3 pounds each. Or maybe they meant 3 pounds combined. I don't know. Obviously, it's not much lighter. I like the piece. I mean, I like the badass build hub, and I also like the fact that it's a low resistance hub compared to the factory one. So, which, yeah, it's not something I can really show you per se, but spinning this one, the amount of effort it takes versus spinning this guy, I can hold it here. I don't know, man. They say it's supposed to be low resistance. It feels kind of the same with me. I don't know. Maybe I just I took the advertising bait, hook, line, and sinker. But here's really the issue that you run into, and that I'm going to kind of run into here. It has to do with the bearing situation. The ABS wheel speed situation here. So C6, of course, C7. Big thing you're going to notice is this guy got a little tail here, right? So GM combined the wheel speed sensor and tone ring inside the bearing itself. It's all housed internally. This is one piece sensor and ring. On the C7s, of course, they changed it, right? If you look at a C7 knuckle, you've got a little hole where an external sensor plugs in. The tone ring is still inside the bearing, of course, but they relocated the sensor externally. Like I said, the knuckle has a hole, and the sensor just slides right through it and reads right about there. Simplification, I'm assuming. I mean, I would say this is probably a simpler setup because it's 4 less sensors, 4 less circuits that you have to worry about if you're GM, whereas with this one it does simplify because it makes that sensor now serviceable rather than the entire hub. So I don't know, I'm sure they had their reasons for it, but whatever the case is, that's the difference between the two. So there is a tone ring in here, but it needs an external sensor. So I've got to fabricate a way now to make it so these knuckles, these front knuckles here, I've got to find a spot to basically, I've got to find a spot on this guy to drill a hole. I got this little flat spot right there to drill one hole. I think it's either 13/32 or 27/64 hole, so that I can mount a sensor externally, which raises a few questions because, well, for one thing, what I'm trying to do is get my hands on someone with a C7 knuckle, a junk knuckle. It doesn't matter, just a knuckle, either side, whatever. I just want to get one so I can take some measurements, right? I want to see in relation to the journal surface, the flat surface. I want to see where that hole is made. It looks in the photos like you kind of got this seam. I don't know, it looks like a seam right here in the casting process. You got this seam, and it looks for all the world to me like that's exactly where, right in the middle, where that hole is made. They kind of have like a machine spot right here, and that's where the hole is. It's kind of centered on this piece where the bearing rides. Well, it doesn't really ride in there, but you know what I mean. So I want to verify as far as, you know, the width of this flat face, this flat piece in here. Like I said, I don't know what you'd call it, thinking of a journal, but the bearing doesn't actually ride in, doesn't touch it. But that area there, versus how far the hole, how far down that hole is. In other words, where is that ring? Where is that tone ring that GM that you're going to use to pick up? What's the sensor going to pick up? How far down is it? For all I know, it might be the entire width of the bearing, and it doesn't really matter, but I don't know that. So I want to try to get the same spot. And then there's also the issue of depth, right? How far is going to stick out? Now, if it's too, this width is too short. In other words, if I drill it and the sensor pokes out a little bit, that I can live with because I can always shim it out, right? Get some plastic spacers and shim it this way, and, you know, set the depth just right. If it's not deep enough, on the other hand, if it's too thick a spot and I drill a hole in and the sensor doesn't get down to it, well, then I got a much bigger problem in my hand. So I got to get one. I got to get a C7 knuckle, take some measurements. I was hoping maybe by chance I can use a C7 knuckle in the car, but as it turns out, even though the mounting points, upper, lower, and the tie rod end mount points are all the same, the way the bearing, the face here, the bearing mounting surface is different. If you look at the pictures of a C7, it just kind of protrudes a little bit. And because of that, the ears over here where the calipers are mounted also are offset. So long and short of it is that's a no-go. I have to do some measurements to see if I can make that work. Worst case scenario, I might have to just go back with the factory hubs, which simplify life. Like I said, I'm not gaining much in terms of weight, but I don't know. I already bought these pretty badass hubs. I'd like to keep them. So we'll have to see how that goes. But we'll figure it out all in due time. Anyways, that's the weight situation. So you got that down. We know how much the actual weight savings is one to the other. Now it's just a matter of getting these things on the car. So let's see how that goes.